Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Nexus Collegiate. My name is Pidde, and with me today I have Hatten here with me. And today we're going to look at another semi-final here between the Swedish team Justice and the Finnish team Sauna. And now I'm going to try the rest of it. Terva, ja, kirves. Do you think that's okay, Hatten?
Um, yeah, I don't have any Finnish in me as far as I'm concerned, so in my ears that sounded quite fine.
All right, we have to talk with some Finnish people later and ask them. But as said, we're gonna have Sauna here against Justice, and it's a really important game for them because the winner of this team is gonna go on and play against Bardictity Int here in Sweden, Jönköping on the 20th. And I'm thinking we can take a look here at the bracket to see how it's looking. So, Hatten, what are we looking at?
We are looking at B2 and U who played against Paragon just not a lot of time ago, just a couple of days ago actually. Um, we're looking a bit shaky, at least when it came to like game 1 and game 3, but in the end they were the ones who clutched it. Um, but today, though, we have obviously STK or Sauna terva kirves versus Justice. Um, and they are obviously the last semifinal spot. But yeah, we are looking at two teams with, I'd say, different skill levels. But I would be very excited to see like how this game is or how this series is actually going to unfold because I mean anything can happen in League of Legends.
Yes, for sure it can. And I haven't seen Sauna play before. I haven't seen the players too much, but Justice, we saw them play here last season, and they actually surprised me, the rest of the crew, and the viewers as well, because they were up against a much better team, but they still managed to pull through. Hatten, this is all yours.
Thank you. But yes, on the side of STK, we have Zaku in the top lane, Jones in the jungle, Debu in the mid lane, Kevo in the bot lane, and Sefe as support. This team is also not really run by a coach. Neither is Justice from Jönköping in Sweden, where we have in the top lane Legit Felle, Fredde Plays, Cynex in the mid lane, Coffee in the bot lane, and Mr. Haug in the support role.
And there we have the players, and I hear that we are ready for the pick and bans already. We missed a few bans here. We can see Sauna banning out Sconner. Of course, it has been a pick and ban champion for a very long time now. Vi as well, have falling off a little bit now lately, but still a very strong champion. And we talked here before the stream started about Corky, how strong he is right now. So first ban from Justice is gonna be him as well.
Yeah, Corki has been rising in popularity ever since the 1410 changes, which pushed him down into the bot lane, where he belonged many years ago. So finding himself in that role again. But yeah, the crit changes really making his auto attacks really scary to play around. Basically, just runs around and one-shots people. So definitely not surprised to see that banned away. Skarner and Vi are two champions who have really high presence. Vi in the jungle and Skarner in the top jungle flex, sorta. But yeah, I mean they cannot counter a hyper carry AD carry, and we see the Justice are banning a couple of those away. But that kind of spells to me that these teams might be looking towards a sort of hyper carry in the bot lane.
Yeah, most likely, and that's also another thing that we talked about. We talked about Korkin, we talked about how strong AD carries are right now. And just seeing one AD carry getting banned here surprised me a little bit because there's so many AD carries right now that's super strong. So usually teams have two, almost three AD carries they want to ban out. But Jinx and Pop is going to be the last bans for Justice. For Sauna, we have Syndra banned, and they also take Tristan as the first pick, which would say again the flex pick. Is it going to be mid lane or is it going to be AD carry? It's been mid for a very long time, but since the changes came out, we've been seeing more and more Tristan in the bot lane.
Yeah, but as you said, it is still very strong in the mid lane, so it definitely wouldn't surprise me if we saw it there. Pantheon is a pickup that Justice are going to pick up now, which is notorious for being a multi-flex champion, so we can't really touch too much on that just yet. We're going to have to see how the rest of the draft actually pans out.
But with a Draven, I mean, Pantheon is really good because easy CC, you can't miss it. If you hit the minion, well, then it's not too good. So, and then with the engage they have and the damage Pantheon also have with all that CC coming out. With the Draven, it would make sense, but Pantheon can go top, mid, jungle, support, so anything but AD carry.
Yeah, definitely. And the answer to this Draven seems to be a Caitlyn. Caitlyn is sort of the, well, highest presence in solo queue, at least in EU West right now, and really high presence on tier lists around the OP tier or the S tier, if you will. Paired with an Ashe, it's going to be a lane that's going to be very, very difficult to play around. Draven uses his movement speed to, have high survivability. Counter that with an Ashe, and counter that with the range of the Caitlyn, it can be very, very difficult for him to survive.
Yeah, they have the opportunity to play really well here. We have Ashe and Caitlyn. You can't dodge their spells. Well, you can dodge one, but then you have to take the other one to the face. But a Blitzcrank coming out here from Justice, so it's not Pantheon support, but a Blitzcrank. How do you feel? Does that change a lot for them in bot lane?
I mean, it does definitely change a couple of stuff because both of these AD carries, well, Ashe has less, escapability than Caitlyn does because Caitlyn has her Yordle net. So landing that hook onto Ashe can be really deadly, and especially you want to get that Draven rolling and going as soon as possible. So with the Blitzcrank, that is suddenly an option that you probably didn't have with Pantheon. Trying to walk up, being slowed, like, I want to W you. Oh wait, I'm dead. Like it's kind of hard.
And I actually think they played Pantheon top last season as well, and did all of these plays. The roaming. As soon as he had ultimate up, he went for a roam, teleported back up top. So high presence all across the map from this Pantheon, if it is the same player. And we see a little errors, so would assume that we're going to do a little redraft here any moment. But still, they changed. They had Nautilus first, not locked in, but they hovered it, changed it to the Ashe. Do you think that was the right decision for them?
I mean, maybe they expected them to pick Pantheon support. Maybe they haven't done their research because, as you say, they have played a top lane before, used it to roam a lot. But I do think the Caitlyn Ashe combo is a very strong one. I think the issue that they might face is that they will be running a triple AD carry comp. And when you do that, plated steel caps is suddenly a higher value. You need a very strong front line, and we see that Justice, they have banned Horn, they have banned Kaysante. The only real front line that I'm seeing that you could possibly go for is a Scion. But yeah, I mean, Justice, they also have picked up Enamumu, as we saw there just briefly. But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see what they actually end up picking in the jungle and the top lane, because they are also lacking a bit of AP damage, so we might see an AP jungle.
For sure, it's AP frontline should be something maybe, because right now we talk AD carry are strong. Some teams play one, even two, but right now we have three AD carries here for Sauna. So as you mentioned, we need a frontline. We need AP for their team, because on the other side for Justice, we have a very strong team. They have a good frontline. They have the damage as well. So how are they gonna try to fight this game so far? Having one or two AD carries doesn't change too much in the team fights, but now it's three AD carries. You really have to rethink everything.
Yeah, and I also think that barring a Ashe ultimate, engage is going to be quite difficult. They did ban the Malphite themselves, which would be a fine pick. It gives you a lot of engage, gives you a lot of frontline as well. Um, so I think they might need to look for engage elsewhere, and that would probably be jungle. But if you end up picking a engage jungle, you're probably looking at a Wukong, you're probably looking at a Sejuani perhaps. But then you have to go AP in the top lane if you want to have that AP damage, and then you're kind of not having that front line that we're talking about. So I kind of feel like they've drafted themselves into a bit of a hole here.
Yeah, that's my thoughts too. I asked you the questions. I know I'm not alone sharing these, but yeah, that Ash we talked about it. Nautilus might have been better now when we thinking about it. Okay, 380 carries might be a little bit too much, because the engage we already have from Justice is sure they're gonna stop one or two players, but they have so much more CC to get into their backline, as well as Tristana can't really jump in as aggressively as she want to do, because since they don't have the front line themselves. So yeah, a really bad position for them so far. And Justice, we're missing a mid lane pick, right? We have
Yeah.
Pantheon, Draven, Blitzcrank, and then a Mumu. What should we look for there?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is just not really counterpicking yourself because you know that you're going to be up against a Tristana. So traditional picks such as the like Azir or perhaps an Akali, they aren't really that viable. Um, but I still think that you should be looking for a sort of mage because you do need that AP damage. Um, but yeah, I'm not quite sure which one you want to go for because the issue is that Sauna, they have a lot of range with their AD carries. They also have really good scaling. So having uptime on your DPS is going to be very important as a mage here. And you do have a strong front line to play around. So as long as you can get out of laning phase pretty fine against the Tristana, anything goes.
Yeah, I'm not too experienced playing against Tristana. I'm not the mid lane. I play any other lane but mid lane, so and I can't really figure it out. Since all the games we're casting, the Tristanas are always playing a little bit different, always aggressive but different, their own play style. So I've seen all different matchups win and lose. Um, but I was thinking for Sauna's side, true, it's Tristana mid. I was thinking Orianna would do great there, but it's Tristana mid, so that's not gonna work out. Um, but we talked about we want maybe a Wukong coming out from Sauna. But do we need a front line with the CC engage, or could we have just more damage to the team to just build pure damage?
I mean, it would be fun.
It would be really fun.
uh, it is very atypical, but I mean, you can run it in certain situations. I feel as though when you're facing a Blitzcrank and a Pantheon, you need someone to face check.
Yeah.
You have the Hawk Shot from Ashe, but if that is off cooldown, you don't really have the vision necessary to be able to face check. So in that regard, you do really need a front line. Had it been something else on the Pantheon and had it been something else on the Blitzcrank, you probably could, invest in all damage to just whittle down your opponents, but in this situation, it is way too risky, I think.
Yeah, we just have to wait and see what they're gonna do about it, because as said, they have 380 carries, so their choices are not too many, but at the same time, they can pick anything because they already have 380 carries. They can do something crazy here. And if they've done some research on Justice from the few games I've seen them play, they're really aggressive. Like, they know they're not as high ranked as the rest of the players, so they counter it with just being really, really aggressive. And that's what we see right now. The Pantheon, the Draven, the early game coming out, Amumu coming in for the team fight, and Blitzcrank looking for these kills all the time. And Sauna gonna pick Nidalee, so we have a fourth range, and I'm not really sure what we're looking for on top lane now.
I mean, I think it has to be a Scion. There's nothing else that. Well, a Zac would actually work fine
Yeah.
here. It's kind of a pick that I forgot, but Zac does give you that front line, does give you that engage as well. Um, the the question that I have is like, will Zac have enough uptime that the rest of the champions can dish out the damage that they need to do? And another question mark that I have is, can Italy give enough resources to, Tristana and Caitlyn to be ahead of the curve?
Yeah. I was also thinking about, since Zac usually are this front line that wants to jump into the fight, not stand in the front line and tank everything, it gives Justice an opportunity of maybe just a few seconds where they won't have any front line at all. If they can get one CC coming in, Amumu flashing with his Q coming out, it's too late for Zac to join the fight. They already lost it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, sure, Zac will be in your backline, but if you have a Pantheon, a Mumu, and Ari in their backline, like it's impossible for them to really survive. Now Caitlyn does have cleanse. The Ashe will probably be running barrier unless they change their summoner spells. And Tristana, if she's lucky, can buffer her jump out of CC. But I don't know, like it just feels like it's a kill or be killed situation for Sauna in this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, it really is. But I like the Nidalee pick here coming out with 80 carries, because that shows like they just want to fight, because that's how you need to play Nidalee right now. Like, you want to get ahead as soon as possible. It's gonna be gank after gank, hopefully kill after kill, get some those stacks coming in, and then try to play around it. But I think in this game, if they can deny Nidalee a lot of resources, do some invades, don't leave any neutral objectives at all, I think she can fall behind very quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not only the Nidalee that I'm kind of worried about. It's also the the Draven pick, because as we discussed prior, well, actually the bot lane, they do have a Blitzcrank, so it can go both ways. So you need to play very, you need to respect the enemy jungle. You need to respect where your jungle is on the map, and obviously respecting the enemy as much as possible. Because if you don't, and the Draven gets to snowball or the Caitlyn gets to snowball, then bot lane is basically over. And if you can't play through bot lane as Justice, then Ari is your only carry. If Ari is your only carry, I mean, that's gonna be a very tough game ahead.
Yeah, because you already have a rough matchup in the mid lane. As said, that Tristana is the champion, can be really aggressive, but can almost get out of any engage as well.
Yeah, and here we are in game. Finally, both teams are kind of setting up for a late invade, but on both sides. So, like two ships in the night that just kind of sail past each other.
Oh, but they're gonna come back at the same way,
They might
maybe.
come back. Mr. Hog might have his
Oh,
Q up,
they
but
know.
Saku will spot this. Let's see what happens. Zac will try and go in immediately. A nice
Out.
triple knockup. Dibu tries to go in to land the damage onto Freddy. Gets the reset. Tries to trade onto Hog as well. He is rather tanky though for the moment. Saku has not yet been popped into a Zac passive, but a second kill will go down over to the side of STK here. They're forced to run for their lives, but Serbia Strong will fall in the end, though they will trade another pick for their troubles. But we opened this game with a 3-1 lead for the side of Sauna.
That's a rough one. It looked good for them, but it didn't work out at all. And Sauna, as you mentioned, 3-1. At least they got one kill there for Justice in the end. But we talked about Jones playing the Nidalee, who want to get ahead really early in the game. Already get 1 kill and 2 assists. I think mission complete.
Definitely mission complete here. I mean, ideally you would want the kill to have gone down onto the Caitlyn as well instead of the Ashe, but I think just starting the game out with a 1k lead is all the motivation you need to keep on going.
It sure is, and if we just look at bot lane, sure, we didn't get any kill for Kevo here, but we have 5 assists and 1 kill on the lanes. As soon they do the reset, they're gonna be ahead.
Yeah, for sure. And the interesting thing is how this bot lane is going to, develop after this. Draven didn't go down, did get an assist, and the kill did go down onto the side of Cyanex. For Justice, Coffee takes very low there, but yeah, I mean, Ari getting ahead is not too bad for Justice either, but hang on, top lane, Ignite is gonna go down.
Oh, his lucky tower got one.
With his cell division... No, it's over there. But Jones is here on the bot side, though. Coffee is very low. The E is not quite enough, but Sefit tanks up the tower very beautifully. They're gonna try to go for a double. Oh, they actually will manage to with the auto attack range from Jevo, but Cyanex will flash in to get the kill anyway. So, I mean, this early game is still just going disastrous for Justice.
Yeah, it is, and we talked about it. Like, they're gonna play for early game. They're gonna play really aggressive, and Sauna is ready for it.
Yeah, for sure. And as we just go off of that play, the top laners are still fighting. Good enough for Justice though that Serbia managed to get a solo kill back, which kind of evens out the gold in the top lane. But Saku, with that health discrepancy that we're looking at right now, is not one to back down from a fight. Though Fredda Place is there as well, trying to hover around to see if there's a gank possibility. Does have double buff. Zac will try to jump away. The Q will land from the side of Fredde, but Saku is probably tanky enough to survive this or hang on.
But
He
here
will
comes
go
Jones,
down, but
though.
here comes Jones, as you say. Let's see where the spear lands. It goes onto Serbia immediately. The W comes out to try and tank it up, but he will fall in the end. Can Jones get a double kill here? It is very close, but the red buff will be enough to take down Jones for the side of Fredde. And suddenly, it is 6 kills to 5.
I thought he would leave that kill there just for free when it was flashed away, but as you mentioned, Red Buff is gonna take that kill, and Justice getting some money across the map right now, so they must feel at least a little bit better after that start in level 1. And if we look down at the bot side, Coffee didn't get the best starts, but Kevo 1 Dirk ahead right now, so 1200 gold lead already with that. So right now it's going to be rough on almost every lane here for Justice. Maybe mid might be easy for them.
Yeah, I feel like mid should all hang on. Hook will land. A lot of damage is gonna go down onto Cephate immediately. The Ignite too. But the cleanse will go down from Kevo. And now it is suddenly them who will be the ones who aggress in this play. At the same time though, the mid lane goes horribly wrong for Justice. Cyanix falls. And now suddenly the Caitlyn is 3-0-3 in the bot lane.
Yeah, and that lane should be over now. Draven, Coffee, the stacks are gone. There's not really much for him to play around, and the jungler is not gonna help him because, you know, you're not gonna get Draven ahead now. So, yeah, I don't...
Oh my god! Saku!
Okay.
Sure. I mean, Jones is there again though. Can he get the repeat from before? He does have the red buff for the slow if he wants to, and I think Serbia kind of knows that he is dead. Yeah, the E is gonna go down.
Everything on CD.
It is going very wrong for Justice right now. It is, I mean, just look at the champions. 3-0-3 for Caitlyn, as we said. Now Jones finding himself on 4 kills as well. So yeah, I mean, the game is sort of spiraling out of control for the side of Justice. And we said the only saving grace for Justice is sort of that mid lane with Sion-X, but if you look at the CS advantage, Dibu has double the CS of Sion-X, even though he doesn't have any kills, so the gold is very even there as well.
Yeah, I got those two kills with the team, but the laning phase hasn't been in his favor at all. And, I mean, 50 against 21, that's a big lead in gold. So, yeah, as you mentioned, it looks good if we look at the stats for their mid laner, but all in all, it's not that at all.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you can look at the KDA, but then you look at the CS and you're like, oh, never mind.
The big numbers, you have to look at them as well.
Yeah.
It is Serbia strong on top lane who's... Well, he's strong, but he's playing Phantom, so it won't have that kind of impact.
The charm will miss, and yeah, there just goes the Buster Shot, and by goes Sion-X, so Dibu finding himself his first kill of the game on the Tristana. Sion-X sort of disrespecting that amount of burst that just can come out of the Tristana play, and I mean, it's something that we mentioned in draft, that you want to respect the Tristana, but at this point the game has gone so haywire that it's kind of hard to discuss draft at this point.
Yeah, sure. It's just look at the gold. We're, let's see, 3,000 gold lead, almost 4.
Yeah.
And we're 7 minutes into the game. 7 minutes, not 25, 7. And I don't think it will be any better at all for them. They're gonna keep on fighting topside.
Yeah, I mean, Saku might have overextended yet again. Serbia does have the Ignite, which he has popped already. The W will go down, and yeah, the empowered Q will finish that kill. So Saku is really the only thing setting a thorn in the side of STK at the moment with the amount of kills that he is giving up. But I mean, Zach doesn't really need to be ahead, let's be honest. He can just kind of chill in his lane. Let's see if Jones is able to smite this away. He doesn't actually manage to do so, but Pidde will land the CC. He might get traded on though. Admittedly, it does a lot of damage at this stage of the game, and yeah, ooh, just one more auto attack, but the charm comes over the wall. The spear will land though! An absolute snipe from the side of Jones. But now Sion-X finds himself a bit overextended, and just when we talk about how bad things were, they're just gonna go from bad to worse.
Yeah, it's not looking good at all. Oh, here's this new player.
Tries to trade something back. Cephate takes it very low there. The Nidalee Spear will land, and with the damage done, I think STK might have to back off there, so Cafe will actually live this.
Do they though? It's not enough.
I think so, yeah.
Alright, so Justice, after that level 1 fight, the game was like, yeah, it's gonna be rough for them. It's not gonna be easy at all. And 5 more minutes of just constant fighting is gonna be 13-7 in kills and a gold lead of 5,500 already. I don't know how Justice is gonna make it out of this.
No, it is very, very doom and gloom for them right now. But thankfully, and this is sort of grasping for straws, but the game does have bounties for a reason, and this is the exact reason for it. And we talked about it, you know, STK, they have a lot of damage, but they are lacking a bit in the front line, so there is still a possibility for Justice to get that, you know, miracle engage off in a fight. You know, the Amumu ultimate on the back line, Ahri assassinating someone, you know, Draven ultimate being able to pick up some stacks, but it does feel very far away if we're gonna ever reach that point.
Yeah, and when I look at it, sure, we still have the damage, but it feels like Justice know they are behind. They're not looking for these fights. They need to take some risks right now, because if they're just waiting and waiting, the gold lead is gonna go even more crazy. So try to do something desperate soon. I hope they do that at least, because as you mentioned, if they can get the CC in, they have the potential to at least one-shot one, take that bounty, run away, and just repeat that over and over.
Ooh, Sinex might be in trouble here. Saka tries to trade back, but Pidde is around. The Curse of the Sad Mummy will go down. He will go into his cell division, but Jones is in the area, will deal a lot of damage down onto Pidde as well. Saka will fall, Pidde will be forced to flash away. And they have actually found themselves a pick. The spear will be dodged, but the flash in from Jones will pick up the kill anyway. But I still think, well, okay. I was gonna say a 1-for-1 is probably worth it, but looking at Zach's KDA, that's not a lot of gold.
No, it's not giving much gold at all. And Jones, it feels like as soon as there's a fight going in favor.
Oh my god! Look at that damage.
Yeah, and this is why Caitlyn is so popular right now, because the crit items and everything is just crit after crit and headshot.
The range was nearly there.
But the dive is gonna be there.
The dive is probably gonna be there. The spear is forced to be flashed away from. Oh my god, Kevo just gets the kill straight up from Mr. Heg. Coffee not able to defend that shot, and the tower will fall in the bot lane as well. I think the tower in mid lane is very low too, so STK, they are just putting the gas, or putting the foot on the gas. They're not slowing down one bit.
For sure not, and we've seen them just play mostly around the kills, getting this lead they have right now. It's almost 9k gold lead, and now they're gonna move on, they're gonna take the objectives, gonna push in towers, so Justice have a harder time to rotate from the different lanes back and forward to stop the push, get all the gold. And I think we're looking at maybe 7-8 more minutes of this, because now they start, as you say, they're starting to finish this game.
Yeah, and the only silver lining for them right now is that they will have 2 Drakes after everything is said and done, which means that STK, they don't really have the Drake win con. Don't think they need it in this game, but if we're looking at, you know, every bits and pieces that you can possibly have, you know, not allowing the enemy team to stack Drakes in this sort of situation can actually mean a lot if the game, you know, goes very far, but they just need to stop the bleeding right now. That's the main thing. Throw every rule out the window. Don't play standard. Just try and throw your opponent off. Play off rolls, you know, play off sides, and just try and find a pick. Get those shutdowns. Get that juicy 500 gold shutdown onto Jones. The ultimate will go down onto Mr. Hog, but yeah, I mean, the Caitlyn ulti will not seal the deal, but Jones is there. Serbia actually lands the stun under the tower, but Kevo was not tanking it. Pidde will try and trade back onto Cefe though. Jones is in the area, but yeah, this is actually a pickup for Sionex. Don't know if that was a shutdown. I don't think it was actually, but they might be looking for more. Jones forced to jump away, but yeah, no. The play will fade away unless they find Pidde here.
Now they're gonna look for something, but there was no shutdown on that, but they just have to take everything they can get. Like, they should be happy with that, but
no,
not mid lane though. So, Justice, we talked about it. Right now, their win condition is the Dragons. They're up 2-0. They could play for the 4th one, and they're buying themselves a lot of time denying STK having the soul. But Sionex, once again, in a position doesn't want to gain.
The spear will land on Kevo with the amount of range that he has. Bye-bye.
Yep. That's a lot of damage. And it's the two...
It's not over yet, though. Coffee forced to run away here. The Q2 will land, and Dibby will just deal enough damage to land the kill eventually as the bomb takes down. And yeah, I mean, STK, they're just completely ruthless right now. It's so hard to see what they can do.
He's strong enough to put Caitlyn alone on the top side. Fred is gonna look for this though, have his jungler with him. So might turn around.
He's way too weak as a Lona Mumu, and yeah,
the
Ash Arrow, I don't even think it was needed, but it's gonna land anyway, and yeah, Kevo is now dominating on the Caitlyn.
That's rough. Give him a break.
Yeah,
he's getting out of everything, and then a random Ash Arrow is like, now you're gonna be CC for 3 seconds now.
Poor Amumu, man, you know, literally the most lonely character in the entire universe. Just gets bullied in this game. That's rough.
Yeah, but
that's really rough.
It's at this point, there's not really much for them here. They could go for the dragons, but at this point, if they're gonna go for 3rd dragon, that means, alright, but then you're gonna lose Baron, and maybe the 4th dragon is gonna be, yeah, you're gonna lose your Nexus. So the reward right now with the risk, I can't find any risk that's worth it for the reward you might get.
No, but I mean, even if they get scraps, I think it's still worth it.
For sure, but they need to find the kill on Kevin Jones.
They really do, and
Foremost.
and you can see with Cyanex looking for something.
Oh,
It is.
oh my god! All right, Gaten is pretty strong.
I don't even know what to say.
It's basically a 3 shots.
Yeah, and now Fred is dead as well. Pretty much.
Oh,
Ah, wait, use a minion. Yes,
dodge
Spider-Man.
jump.
He gets out. Yippee!
Yeah, but just look at the minimap right now. They're gonna do
Yeah.
1-3, oh, 1-2-2. They're gonna.
Oh, the spear! No!
So Fred is gone. Oh, then
Oh,
Gaten
wait,
made
wait,
smart.
wait, look! They're trying to flash in on Kevo. Ah, but they're dead.
Oh yeah. Kevo did a really smart flash there. Instead of flashing the rest of his teammates, which you usually want to do that. Don't get me wrong, but if he would do that in this position, he would take a lot of damage from Serbia as well. So flashing to the side there, still doing damage, can't really protect himself behind the shield. Is really well played from him.
Yeah, well played from Kevo. And I feel like at this point, we are 17,000 ahead on the side of STK. I feel like the least you can do as a team is, just laugh it off, not really thinking much about this game, just be like, okay, these guys stomped us, but maybe we have a chance in the next game, and what you need to do is just, yeah, thanks for highlighting the kills 24-9, but yeah, at 16 minutes, you just need to think about what can we do next game, what can we do for drafts, should we ban the Caitlyn, what should we ban, like,
Yes.
it looked good on paper, but
Uh,
the execution, it's just not
Yeah.
working.
Didn't work out for them. They're gonna have one final fight here, giving it all they have. Maybe take one
Okay,
kill with
Kevos takes low here, but with the buster shot, Serbia is way too far away to really finish the kill. Draven ultimate will miss as well. Coffee tries to flash away from the side of Saku, but yeah, they're just gonna start falling one after another, and now it's Coffee, the left one, the last one left to watch his base burn as Jones picks up a triple kill to finish things off. And yeah, it's just been an absolute storm from the side of STK here. It takes game 1 in this best of 3.
That's correct. So 1-0 now for STK. The game was kind of the risk they took in the early game. Fighting level 1 went to a favor and 3-0 kills. Got the kills on the champions. They really wanted it. It really started to go outward from there. And as soon as it went 5 minutes, they really used this advantage that they had with maybe 900 to 1,000 gold advantage. They just ganked those lane over and over until we started moving up to 4-5k, and from that, well, the game was just over.
Yeah, no, it really went wrong from minute 1, I feel. But, still props to Justice. I feel like in this situation, as I mentioned in the game, you just laugh it off, go next. Like, there's nothing you can do. Uh, I mean, I watched pro teams lose quicker than this, so
Oh
at
yeah.
least that's something. So, like, you shouldn't
You're
beat yourself too much over it, and you still have a chance in this next game.
for sure. I really want to see this from last season. They had Pantheon this game, really early game, just fighting. I want to see more champions like that because that's when they've been as the strongest. From Sauna's part, I mean, they had a weird pick with all these marksmen, but at the same time, it worked. It might be their playstyle. So if you win, don't switch it up too much. Maybe go with 280 carries this time, but not much more. Um, we're gonna take a small little break before moving into game 3. And once again, if Justice lose this one, then Sauna is gonna move on to the semifinals, playing against Predicted 2. So don't move anywhere, and we'll be right back.